taking a company from, the ideation stage up until
Yeah.
700 people org. How would you describe the approach to people management and how that changes as a founder going through those different stages, and sort of, how do you maintain your cultural values across those different stages of growth as well?
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of important questions you're asking
Yeah.
there. Well, let me start with the last one first about culture. So I would say here, this is something that I've come a long way on thinking about over the course of my career. So when I was a young guy, you know how it is, you go into some first job you have, there's this poster of the corporate values. You're like, this is bullshit, basically. This is just stupidity. Why are we talking about corporate values? This is nonsense.
I just want to come to work and do shit.
I want to come to work and get stuff done.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way anymore. And so I'll tell you, because what you realize then over time is that when you have serious problems at work, when there's disagreements, when there's, bad things are happening, almost all the time that can be traced back to misalignment around core values. I think that that's, and I've seen it, unfortunately, I've seen this play out where it's there's, you're not on the same page with other people in the management team or other things. That's what it boils down to. So having gone through some of those, tougher experiences, you realize, no, it's not. So now with Moonsong Labs, with other companies that are coming out of the venture studio, we're quite explicit about that. It's as a founding team, you need to express, what are the values that are important, to us as a founding team, and look for opportunities to reinforce that, to say, hey, we're going to give a shout out here to Dan. He did this great job, but it embodied our dedication to security, for example. That's one of the core principles that we have when we're building software. And so you're just looking for opportunities to reinforce that, and so that when someone does something that's out of bounds, then you can obviously in a nice way, but you can call that out too and be like, hey, this is not in keeping with one of our core values.
Nice.
And people kind of understand what you're about then. So I think that's that's something that's very important that I didn't realize until later on, after having problems, basically. That that's really, really important.
Yeah, I could see as a technical guy, it's easy to miss that, and the value of that until it kind of snowballs into why am I dealing with these issues? And then you're like, okay, I get it. We're not on the same page.